Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys 1/6 scale Star Wars The Clone Wars figure unboxing and review. Today, we're taking a look at ARC Trooper 5s. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as brand new Star Wars content goes live. I was so hoping they were going to drop Echo at the same time as 5s. I was counting on it. I thought for sure this would be a duo review. Unfortunately, at the time of filming this video, Echo still isn't out yet, so separate reviews it is. As for the box art, up front, an image of the figure himself with the bucket on, then a metallic foil Star Wars logo below that, glossy wraparound banner in the blue and yellow Clone Wars color scheme, with a shot of 5s on it, this time not wearing his bucket. This video is brought to you by JustinsCollection.shop, the home of the figure first aid kit, as well as other accessories to help your collection be the best it can be. The first aid kit contains multiple tools to help you with maintenance, styling rooted hair, and much more. We also sell crotch grabbers, soft rubber tips to prevent damage, and they're compatible with most modern Hot Toys base molds. Acrylic risers come in multi-packs. They're optically clear, thick and sturdy, and stackable. Check out the link to JustinsCollection.shop in the description. From now on, I'll try and speed up unboxing segments where I can, especially for Star Wars figures, because you've seen one Star Wars box, you've seen them all really. On the side, we've got another picture of 5s, once again without his helmet on. On the back, warnings, legal information, and their store locations. Wait a second. I think they've been a little bit lazy. That picture on the slip cover is exactly the same as the one we just saw on the side of the box on the wraparound banner. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like bespoke artwork, especially when there's so little of it on Star Wars figure boxes. At least in the background, we've got Apo and Rex and Echo and then Jesse off to one side there. Not sure why Echo is sporting the flashlight and the macro binoculars, but, you know, it's a choice. First in-hand impressions for ARC Trooper 5s. So far, so good. I'm seeing a lot of reuse from Jesse, but that is absolutely to be expected. What we're going to do now is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first. It's the regular old Hot Toys Star Wars tile flooring base mold. It's relatively compact, pretty low profile, but it is chock full of weathering. It's done in gunmetal first for the top plate, slightly shiny, there's a flake to it. Then there's silver scratching, really fine ones, heavier ones pitting absolutely everywhere. This type of weathering on Star Wars bases, I want to see more of it because it looks great. Then around the front, Star Wars and ARC Trooper 5s on the etched nameplate. Up top, a height adjustable wide scoop crotch grabber. It's not really an accessory, it's more so part of his look, his backpack. It doesn't do anything. Doesn't open. You can't remove anything from it. It's a static piece. It attaches with a magnet. This slots under the back armor bit that sticks out. And we've got a foam pad to protect his clone armor plating from the backpack so nothing gets scuffed up when you install it. The paint applications are different versus Jesse's backpack, but the sculpt is exactly the same between them. Interestingly enough, this was set to be an exclusive accessory for 5s, but then we got Clone Commando Boss. Even though he was announced after 5s, he dropped before 5s did because he was an exclusive. So now it looks like 5s is the one copying Boss, where technically it's the other way around. I'm pretty sure even the readout for the screen is exactly the same versus what we got with Boss. Again, not really accessories, more so part of the look. We get a removable rangefinder for his helmet, or this little ear cap cover piece. I'll show you what he looks like with both options installed a little bit later. Oh, now that is quite the head sculpt. We'll go in depth once we install it on the body. For now, all you need to know is I am very impressed. The Sideshow sculpt, it was okay, but next to the Hot Toys one, come on, there's no comparison. What about weapons? He comes with a rocket launcher. There's no hole at the front for the rocket to actually come out of, which is odd, but, I'm sure we can suspend our disbelief with that. I like the pop of green front and back on this sight. There's also some copper right there, and a light silver dry brush over the entire thing. Animated style DC-15, you can't bring the stock back. Some folks have said you need to stretch this, but yeah, nah. I'm not willing to try that because it'll probably break on me. The iron sights, though, they're PVC plastic. Even if you put some pressure on them when you're popping this in his hands, I don't think they're going to break. Two DC-17 blaster pistols, gunmetal as the base color, a little bit shiny, then that silver dry brushing over the top. Then a half and a full thermal detonator, or maybe these are droid poppers. Let me know if you know for sure down in the comments, I always get confused. There's sculpted detail on the switch up top, some red paint apps for what would be the light, and even some sculpted detail that's highlighted with a black wash, more visible on the half one, but in the crevice on the full one as well. And lastly, a pretty abysmal array of hands, to be totally honest. We get relaxed open palm ones. I like the matte finish on the gloves and the wrinkling. These are all 100% reuse for those wondering. The weathering on the armor plating, the white speckling and the darker grey speckling, the colour of blue they went with, no complaints there. It's just the array of gestures. You'll see what I mean. So only one splayed out finger open palm hand. We should have had two of these. And again, only one pointing finger hand. Where's the second? You could argue it's here, but this is a completely different gesture. Maybe he's touching the side of his helmet, communicating with a Jedi General or something. Or he could be pointing, but I see this as something else entirely. At least we get two trigger finger hands, and prying the fingers open to pop the chonky handles for the blasters in there, you can do it. I would suggest heating these up first, just so that there's no paint rub and you don't cause any damage to the paint on those handles for the blasters. What we're going to do now is get ARC Trooper 5's himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. Let's not beat around the bush here. That's 5's. That is ARC Trooper 5's to a T. They've made some changes compared to the prototype. I can't wait to dive into that. But just standing there with the backpack on, pistols in his holsters, rangefinder attached, I'm in love with this piece. I'm all about troopers, specifically ARC Troopers, and this has got my name written all over it. 5's was a freaking badass in the Clone Wars, and I'm so happy that they decided to make this. There was a time where they were dabbling in clones, but I never thought they'd get to 5's and Echo because it seemed like they were making everyone else except them. They proved me so wrong. Now, in terms of proportions, same standard clone body as always, so proportions, the way the armor fits, it all looks sensational. Up close and personal, kicking things off with 5's bucket. Thank goodness they fixed it. The prototype one was all kinds of wrong. They didn't have this sharp crease on the front of the mandible area, the diamond cutout, the shape was inaccurate. They've made significant changes with the production piece. Yet we still have the moving rangefinder, you can bring that down or switch it out, which we will do. And the paint applications for the weathering. It's sublime. No complaints from me with the way this helmet looks. The proportions are different compared to the Sideshow helmet, but if I was picking between them, considering the blue is too vibrant in my opinion with the Sideshow helmet and the weathering looks far too intentional, like big brush strokes versus actual weathering, yeah, I'd be going with the Hot Toys bucket. And Hot Toys got the color of the rangefinder right. It's meant to be grey. See, it needed to be there, that crease at the front there. If it wasn't, then the helmet wouldn't look as fierce as it does, and now that this mold exists, they can use it for more ARC Troopers going forward if they want to. Now, the visor is a semi-translucent piece of glossy plastic. In set, installed inside the helmet, so there's an actual gap around the edge, there's some separation, making that look more realistic. Unfortunately, there is one little thing, that they didn't do, that Sideshow did. The red paint app on the back of the fin. There's a spot for it, a flat platform, just below the bits that stick out at the top. They couldn't be bothered to add the red paint on there to make it look like a light. Maybe next time. Or I could just grab some red paint and add it myself. Now that I think about it, I'll probably just do that. Should you have to? Shit, no, you shouldn't have to. They are meant to be painting stuff for us. We're not supposed to be painting stuff ourselves, but in this instance, it's so tiny, I can just do it. Removing the rangefinder, relatively easy to take that off. Then we can bring in this earpiece. There's a notch right there and a keyed bump out on the ear. So when we slot it in, push it in place, sits all the way in. There's barely even a seam around it. To complete this look, I would have liked to switch out mouthpiece without the ridge and a replacement for the fin for a full-on Phase 2 look. I mean, they're both separate pieces, so that totally would have been possible. For right now, I'm not going to rock him with the ear plug-in. Instead, the rangefinder, that's my go-to display option. Speaking of the rangefinder, a bit random, I know, but I just had a thought. What if we install the rangefinder on Jesse's bucket? It's technically got the same removable earpiece, so installing the rangefinder, it should be compatible. I hope this doesn't get stuck in there, but pushing it all the way in, installing the helmet back on the body, this looks sick. If only we had spare rangefinders to do this long term, because now I need to decide, do I give Jesse the rangefinder or do I pop it back on 5s? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Okay, I'll stop messing around now. I've reinstalled it on 5's bucket. Let's pop on the unhelmeted head sculpt, see what that looks like on the body. If I had to describe this head sculpt in one word, it would be immaculate. Look at the fidelity of the skin texture, the pores, the wrinkles for his forehead, the paintwork for the 5 o'clock shadow on his upper lip right there, the intensity to the expression, the feathered edge for the hairline even. He's got a skin tone neck that slots underneath the head sculpt, so that looks pretty seamless. How much detail is in the hair, the tattoo. It's got this bluish tint to it that makes it look like it's pigment underneath skin. Everything about this head sculpt, spot on for me. Is it better than the Sideshow sculpt? You already know. In the accessory segment, I showed you what they look like side by side. Yes, in my opinion, this is the best 5 sculpt that we've ever gotten in 1/6 scale. Is it the best Tem sculpt? Maybe. I still think Commander Cody is up there, then probably Jango Fett. If I was ranking them, I'd put 5s at a close number 3. That might sound harsh, coming in 3rd place. It isn't. I didn't mean it to be, but we never got to see Tem looking like this in live action. With the goatee and this particular hairstyle and the tattoo on his forehead, so we don't have that point of reference to compare this head sculpt to in real life. That's why it's so difficult to say that this head sculpt is 100% perfect. It's damn close, but I'd say it's an 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. I like how they've been doing this recently with the little jagged edge for the hair around the back of the sculpt, so it looks like there's actual hair falling on the back of his neck. So yeah, there's a skin tone neck underneath the sculpt. Skin texture and skin tone wise, it matches the head sculpt no problem. It also extends down into the suit, and there's a sculpted Adam's apple. It's a bit skinny. The reason they've done that is so that it fits inside the opening for the helmet. You can see how tight that opening is. It's not a massive issue from front on. When you start to turn the head sculpt, it is noticeable. I want to try out the moving eyes now. Removing this head sculpt, it's on one of those clip mechanisms. Then there's so much access inside the sculpt to move the eyes around. Off to one side. I knew this furrowed brow would come in clutch. let's reinstall the head sculpt and discuss. So you just can't beat side-eye, head tilt back, head tilt forward. It's a winner no matter which angle you have the head sculpt at. I'm not sure if I'm going helmeted or unhelmeted in the collection. Let me know what you think in the comments. See, now he doesn't look as angry, still fierce, but not as pissed off. Until you start to tilt the head sculpt forward. I'm going to have so much fun with this sculpt for figure photography. If you're struggling to line the eyes up, I would suggest tilting the head sculpt back. Then you can see if they're looking in the same direction. Hopefully that helps. That's what I do at least. Reinstalling the bucket. It's kind of tricky to do. Once it sits down, you can feel those guiding fins on either side of the clip connectors slide into place. Then you can push it down and lock it in. Let's pick up the pace. Sculpted plastic pauldron, there's leather grain texture and this rippling effect. That looks incredibly believable, but trust me, this is not pleather, it's sculpted plastic. One side black with some grey weathering over the top. The other side grey with some lighter grey weathering on it. Then we've got this removable ammo pouch, which is pleather, and it's held in place with a magnet. Around the back, you don't have to have the backpack on there if you don't want, and even if you remove it, the back of his armor is still weathered, and we've got a black wash in the crevices. It's not like they left this unpainted, so you have to use the backpack. His extra chest armor is a separate piece sitting on top of normal Clone Trooper armor. It's reused from Jesse. The markings are different, the weathering is different, but I'm 99% sure this is meant to be a lighter blue. I've looked at reference and that's what I was able to find. Unless you know of different reference, then just help me out. Show me where Hot Toys got the grey colour for this from. Shoulder pads are on elastic straps, heavily weathered. The blue paint looks like it's scuffed off. Then the bicep guards can be moved around. Same thing with the elbow pads. And we've got an asymmetrical design for the gauntlets. The wrist rocket and the pops of colour for the buttons, love to see it. And some raised sections on the right side. Oh, the gauntlets are also reused from Jesse, just different paint apps. The belt, separate free-floating piece, also from Jesse. We've got some sculpted plastic leather-looking pouches. Thank goodness those aren't pleather, because the smaller the pieces are, the quicker they tend to go usually. These straps, they look like pleather, but I've given them a sniff, and based on my inconclusive smell test, they smell like genuine leather to me. This doesn't, but these do. They don't mention it in the pre-order listing, or on their website, or on Sideshow's website. I can't say for sure, but I've got a sneaking suspicion that they're starting to upgrade certain straps and bits and pieces that hold outfit elements together to genuine leather, just so that they stand the test of time. Can't guarantee that though, so just bear that in mind. These pouches are attached to the inside of his Karma. They're locked in place. You can't remove these cartridges from them, whatever they are, but you can take out his DC-17 blaster pistols from their holsters. They've fixed these now so that the pistols don't rattle around in there. They lock in place securely. I don't think there's any danger of paint rub on these pistols. It's a secure fit, but not overly secure, if you know what I mean. Oh, Hot Toys, they giveth and they taketh away. Why do we not have wired Karmas? For all Clone Troopers that have Karmas. We just got our first wired Karma with live-action Captain Rex, and we have to go back to this. No wires in the Karma. It looks good, the grey with the blue on top, then the weathering. They've even weathered the fabric, then the black outline. They just needed to add some frickin' wires around the outside edge. Maybe with the Future 2.0, although I don't want to think about that because I just got this piece. The leg armor heavily weathered for certain sections, and the weathering gets more and more intense as we work our way down to the boots. There's that grey speckling on the blue bits and a black wash, then the extra armor plating over the shoes, but they didn't give us the red paint apps on the underside for the soles. I don't know where toy companies got the red for ARC Troopers boots from, but I'm so used to seeing it, not having it with 5s, kinda disappointing. Just one more thing, then we can move on. Underneath his armor, he's wearing that classic Hot Toys stretchy spandex ribbed clone bodysuit. It's pretty bulletproof. You can pose the shit out of him, and I reckon it can take it. I've checked reference. I'm not sure where Sideshow got the color of their undersuit from, but they went with grey. The grey is interesting, it's unique, and it helps the ARC troopers stand out amongst a sea of clone troopers. The sea of clone troopers you probably already have on your Star Wars shelf. So Hot Toys choosing to go black, yes, it keeps everything more uniform. These are clones, that also makes sense. But I am partial to the grey. For a quick side-by-side comparison, on the left, Hot Toys, on the right, Sideshow. I still like certain things about the Sideshow piece, like the grey undersuit, and the sculpted plastic ammo pouches underneath the pauldron, and the colour and size of the chest armour up front. But then again, look at the proportions with the Hot Toys one, and what we get in terms of accessories, and the unhelmeted head sculpt. Plus, we can display him without the rangefinder. Those things combined, yes, there's still pros with the Sideshow figure, but, I mean, it is truly a night and day difference. If you have the opportunity to pick up the Sideshow figure or the Hot Toys one, go Hot Toys. I highly doubt you're going to regret it, especially when it comes down to the body. I am gobsmacked that my Sideshow 5s is still standing next to that Hot Toys piece. This is not a picture, this is a video, and he is standing. I have walked into my collection room so many times, and he has fallen over and taken multiple troopers with him. The bodies on Sideshow clone troopers are notoriously floppy, with Hot Toys 5s sturdy as. Ooh, it's a little taste, if you will. Here we have Sideshow Echo next to Hot Toys 5s. The colours, they don't mesh well. Then we've got the grey undersuit on the right versus the black on the left. And the Sideshow bucket is enormous compared to the body. Proportions are out of whack. Still, I have to rock them like this because I don't have any other choice. Until we get the Hot Toys Echo, this is how I'm going to display my 5s next to the Sideshow piece. Hot Toys Jesse now, same pauldron, same chest armor, same gauntlets, same pouches hanging from the straps on his belt connected to the Karma. Then we've got the same leg armor, same boot armor. So many similarities. But on the left, we've got Phase 1.5, and on the right, Phase 2. I will be displaying them nearby one another, but not right next to each other, just because they represent different phases when it comes to Clone Trooper armor. It's not to say that you can't do it, it's just not for me. This, on the other hand, yes, it's Phase 2 Captain Rex. But is it? More like Phase 1.5, because he's got the weld lines and he's mashed Phase 2 and Phase 1 together. This works where I don't think Jesse does as well. The green tint to Rex's armor throws it off a little, but not enough to upset me. Going over articulation, you probably already know what to expect from 5s when it comes to posing. It's a standard Hot Toys clone body underneath a lot of standard armor pieces. Yes, the pauldron and this chest plate, they'll get in the way. Maybe these straps connected to the belt and Karma as well, we'll soon find out. I've also removed the backpack just so that it doesn't fall off while we're doing this. Starting off with his bucket, ball joint at the base of the neck, double ball peg underneath it, hinging forward, then looking forward to there. Combined range, not a ton, but looking back, definitely further than forward. At max range, you will expose the skin tone neck though. Swivel and some pivot side to side. Arms will go up to there, relatively unhindered by all of this, but going forward, that's where this pauldron does collide with the bicep armor. That's pretty much the most you'll get out of it, unless you hinge the arms out at the same time as forward. There's a butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow. I like to tuck this strap underneath the bicep guard for more range. Ratchet joint at the elbow, by the way. Then for the wrist peg, it's a ratcheted hinge and swivel. You can cover the gap with this gauntlet, just slide it forward. joint at the midsection, another at the waist, crunching forward to there, restricted by this chest armor piece colliding with the belt, going back significantly further than forward. It does get gappy though. Swivel and some pivot side to side. Legs on ratchets going forward to there. You can rotate the thigh armor, then you can get a couple more clicks out of them. Going out to there, friction joints, not ratchets, swivel at the upper thigh. Cutouts both above and below this strap for the knee pads, so that means we'll get more range, double bend at the knee on soft ratchets going past 90, but only just. Then a split cut boot design and a double ball peg for the ankles, good for forward and back rotation, and surprisingly, tons of ankle tilt. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing, don't get me wrong, I love a good skin tone neck on a clone trooper that comes with an unhelmeted head sculpt. However, there needs to be enough excess fabric with the suit collar so that we can pull it up over the top of the skin tone neck and hide it when we've got the helmet installed. I've tried my best to do that with 5s, and unfortunately, there's just not enough fabric to make that happen. The second annoying thing is these stupid pouches. They're still made of pleather. There's no reason for them to be pleather when the pouches on his belt, they look just as realistic, if not even more so, with the in-scale stitching and the leather grain texture. They're sculpted plastic. Going forward, why not just make these out of plastic instead of going with cheap and nasty pleather? The third annoying thing, please don't laugh at me. Yes, it's so minor. It's not a deal breaker by any means. It might not even register for you, but it drives me a little crazy. They are so inconsistent with when and where they add the red paint on the back of the fins for Phase 1 / in this instance 1.5 Clone Trooper buckets. If Sideshow could do it back in the day with their 5's helmet, then Hot Toys totally could have popped some red paint back there. The first cool thing is options. You can ditch this ammo pouch. You couldn't do that with the Sideshow one. This was permanently attached. And you can either go with or without the rangefinder. They've even given you this Phase 2 helmet-looking earpiece to cover up the hole when you take the rangefinder out. The second cool thing, it's got to be the unhelmeted head sculpt. That is a killer sculpt. The skin texture, the likeness to Tem is there, especially from that angle. The way the goatee has been sculpted and painted, the tattoo, he's got moving eyes and a skin tone neck. I could go on, and I already have. But versus what Sideshow gave us, I still like the Sideshow sculpt, super expressive. It's just that it looks smooth and cartoony, animated almost. That could work for you. For me, I prefer the more realistic sculpt that we got from Hot Toys. The third cool thing, it's so little, but it's a quality of life improvement that I'm so here for. The DC-17 blaster pistols slot into their holsters so securely. Back in the day when we first started getting clones with holsters like these from Hot Toys, the pistols, they would flop around in there, they'd fall out all the time. That is no longer a problem, as is evidenced by this. They just simply don't want to come out unless you really pull them out of those holsters. Wrapping up on ARC Trooper 5s. At the end of this video, so chuffed with this. Is he perfect? He ain't perfect. A couple of things to watch out for, like limited articulation, and we've got the visible skin tone neck if you've got the helmet on and he's looking all the way up, then the lack of the grey undersuit, and the blue is slightly pale versus the animation. I can live with all of those things, because Hot Toys took what Sideshow gave us and improved and iterated and upgraded and improved again. We've got a body that's actually sturdy and stable. Plenty of accessories. Accuracy versus what we saw with the prototype. They made improvements with the final production piece, and that's what I wanted to see. But the icing on the cake, surprisingly, I didn't think this was going to be my favorite thing about this piece. The unhelmeted head sculpt. All of the clones in my collection currently have got their buckets on. Is this piece going to be the one that changes my mind on doing that going forward? Potentially. The head sculpt is so good, and the moving eyes play such a pivotal role in making that head sculpt as versatile as it needs to be that I am thinking about displaying him without the helmet on. The jury's still out on that though, we'll have to wait and see. So now that we're wrapping up, do I recommend him? 100%. If you've got Rex, if you have Jesse, he's a no-brainer. Still, even if you don't have Jesse but want an ARC Trooper in your display, Fives or Echo, you need to pick them up. And now that I have this, I'm counting down the days until Hot Toys drop Echo. Fingers crossed it's relatively soon. Now, I got my copy of Fives at a discount from Pop Collectibles. I've popped a link to their site in the description, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.